Hello everyone, welcome back to another Flesh and Blood video. It's been a while since I recorded, since I made those few videos of my Nationals trip, but now we're back finally talking about the last hero who received some brand new cards inside of Dusk Till Dawn. Well, technically not the last hero because of the specs, but the last hero to receive more than one brand new card, and that is going to be Sir Boltyn, Breaker of Dawn. Let's get started. So let's begin with Boltyn's hero ability. Boltyn has the effect, if you've charged this turn, your attacks get +1 power while defended by an attack action card, as well as the attack reaction to banish a card from Boltyn's soul. To give target attack with power greater than its base, go again. This lets Boltyn be really aggressive, sort of pushes you in the direction of what he wants to be doing, which is charging cards into his soul. Charge is a different mechanic than just putting cards in your soul. When you charge your soul, it has to specifically be charging your soul, but it's pretty much just putting cards into your soul. So some light cards that just go to the soul won't really matter, like Illuminate is in the deck because it goes into your soul, but this doesn't count as charging. If you snapped it to give it go again, it doesn't count as charging, so you won't get this first part of Boltyn's effect. But Boltyn just gets really good breakpoints because of this first ability, and if you ever have anything pumped, which the whole deck's about pumping, you can easily have a longer turn. For the weapon, we have Raiden Duskbane. This is a 0 cost, 0 attack light warrior sword, but it does get +3 if we've charged this turn. No sabers. This is not a combo list. This is a full aggro list, so we just have the Raiden in here. I guess if you wanted, you could play that new sword as well, Beaming Blade, but since that does cost 2 and this is free, I kind of like the Raiden a little more, as well as it does get pumped, so we can give it go again with Boltyn. For our headpiece, we have Crown of Providence. Today, day of recording, a new headpiece was shown for Boltyn. That's a Light Warrior headpiece. I think that will definitely replace Crown of Providence and Halo of Illumination, because there are definitely people on that one as well for Boltyn, but it's just not out yet, so we can't really play with it. But for now, Crown of Providence, really good. 2 free block, gives us a free cycle, since Boltyn kind of has to have a pretty specific hand to do stuff. Not as specific as like Rune Blades, but he needs to have a decent hand that can do something each turn, and this can help fix it. Tunic is here because every deck plays Tunic. Yes, Soulbound Resolve exists. It is in our sideboard because it's not really in every matchup card, but this card, super good. We have a lot of stuff that costs 1 that we want to be able to use our Tunic resource for. Super important. Iron Song Versus is our glove of choice. This gives us a courage token if we hit with our sword. The next time we hit with our sword, we get a courage token. It's also 3 extra health because the temper, of course, don't use the last temper unless it's super important to use the last temper, because we want to keep this up since we can sort of force our opponent to block a Raiden or guarantee that we get a pump on another attack. Iron Song Versus feels like it was kind of made for Boltyn, since the other arm, I forget what they're called. I'm drawing a big blank here. The Brave Forge Bracers. The Brave Forge Bracers are definitely a lot better in Dorinthia, especially since we can't even use the activated ability, since we're not going to be swinging with Raiden a bunch. We are playing Lumina because it is a very good card, but Iron Song Versus just helps with our normal game plan of having a pumped attack each turn. And then finally, we're an aggro deck. We play cheap cards. Snaps helps us get go again really easy. If we ever throw like a Bolt of Courage and they don't block it because they think it's going to end our turn, they don't care about the card draw, we can snap it, continue our turn, get a free card. Really nice. Good with Illuminate too. And really anything else that we really want to be able to give go again that's just not pumped and we can't. So Before we go to the main board, we're going to go down here and talk about some of our sideboard equipment. Some pretty easy ones. Norrøn Hood and Norrøn Gloves, just for our arcane damage matchups. 2AB is pretty nice. We're replacing the Iron Song Verses in our AB matchups because this is mainly here for block. Not so much the ability, even though the ability is nice. And we're replacing the helmet since we don't want to replace the shoes, since they let us be more aggressive, and we don't want to replace the chest piece because this can be a free health against arcane damage and also helps a lot with our game plan of play one cost cards. But another reason is because we are swapping for Soulbound Resolve in those arcane matchups. So we can't really swap for the chest piece anyway. So we have to go with the hood, as well as in those arcane matchups, Crown might not be the best block tool. And then finally, Soulbound Resolve. This lets us charge our soul when we defend with it, and it's 2-block temper, so we can do that twice. That's not really the main reason why it's here. The main reason why it's here is for the effect. The first time you would be dealt damage each turn. If you've charged this turn, prevent 1 of that damage. This is really big versus wizards, since if we charge, which it's an additional cost, so they can't respond to the charge, we just get 1 free damage prevention, which can help us against a lot of Icelander spells that we want to prevent, and it can also help us live a little more against a Kano. So really good in those wizard matchups. I'm sure there are some other matchups that you bring it into, but mainly this is for the wizard matchups. So with the equipment out of the way, let's go on and talk about the main deck. So when I did the Icelander deck review during the Nats vlog, I kind of liked how I did it, where I just talked about the cards. I didn't go over, just list off all the cards before. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to go through and talk about the cards. I'm going to start with the attacks because that's kind of the most important part of an aggro deck. Most of Boltyn's attacks, I think, actually not even all but one, there are a lot more that don't, but all of Boltyn's main attacks, the attacks he's really designed around, all have the ability as an additional cost you may charge your hero's soul, and this is specifically charging, so it will turn on Boltyn's ability, which is really good. The 2 best ones, the only 2 of them that we're playing the red ones of, are Beaming Bravado and Bolt of Courage. We're going to start with Bolt of Courage because it's an old one. Bolt of Courage is a 0 for 3, 3-block as an additional cost, charge your hero's soul. Of course that's red, at yellow it's 2 power. If you've charged this turn, Bolt of Courage gains. If this hits, draw a card. If our opponent thinks we're not going to have go again, we can snap it. If they block with an attack, it goes up, they have the block with another card or an equipment, and if they don't, we can use Boltyn to give it go again, draw that card. This helps us go for longer turns, really good on turns that we have like a V for the Vanguard, or we can back it up with a good attack reaction. Really nice. This card is one of the better cards out of Monarch, the better common rare attacks out of Monarch. Beaming Bravado is a brand new one, same stat line, 0 for 3 at red with 3 block, with the same effect to charge a card from your hand. However, the Dusk Till Dawn cards all care about yellows more than just any card. Bolt of Courage, you can really charge anything, but there's a reason why there are only 9 reds main board, because a lot of these effects really care about the yellows. The Bravados, the Light the Ways, the Prayer of Bologna, all 3 of those care about specifically a yellow, and even the Light of Soul. So we generally want to be playing a lot more yellows than we are anything else. Beaming Bravado probably has the best effect out of any of them, which is just to get +1 if you've charged a yellow. Really good, makes it a 4, which is a break point, makes it pumped, which means we can give it go again with Boltyn's ability. Even at yellow, it's still pumped, we can give it that go again. Really, really nice. This is what I kind of meant when you need specific. That might have been on another take, but I did say when I talked about Crown of Providence, your hands need to be kind of specific. Not super specific, but still kind of specific. You want to have a yellow, generally, to charge on each of your turns. Either it be another one of your attacks, an attack you're not going to play, like if I'm not going to play a Bolting Blade in that turn, although you generally do want to play your Bolting Blade. Maybe if Light of Soul just ain't going to do anything, you can charge that. Obviously, we have cards we do want to be charging. We have our Bannerets. We have our Spirit of Irvina. So we do have cards we want to charge, but don't be too picky because you just need something to have been charged. And specifically, though, Beaming Bravado is charged this way, not charged this turn. Bolt of Courage says this turn. So Beaming Bravado should be a lead if you have it, since charging something with like a Prayer of Bologna won't give this the +1. You have to do it specifically with the Beaming Bravado. The final red in the deck, Illuminate. It's just a 0 for 4 3-block. That's just, if it hits, it goes to your soul. If they don't block it, you get a free go again later. That's the whole point of this card. That's why it's in the deck. It's pretty good. Moving on to our other charge attacks. We have Engulfing Light. All these are only the yellow, so I will be reading their yellow stat line. Engulfing Light is 0 for 2 as an additional cost charge. This is a Monarch card. If you charge this turn, it gains. If it hits, put it into your soul. A little weaker Illuminate, but you still get that hit goes to soul effect, and you still get to charge, so this one is a little nice. Light the Way is a Dusk Till Dawn one, meaning you have to charge specifically with it. It gains, if it hits, gain go again. Worded a little differently than the old ones, but that's okay. Pretty much, if you've charged a yellow and it hits, gain go again. We have the red ones in the sideboard, but the red ones are only for specific matchups, so we aren't playing them usually, so the yellows are just in the deck because it's the third best of the 0 cost Boltyn attacks. Next, we have Take Flight. This is a 1 cost. It makes, it just gives itself go again if we've charged. It's a 1 for 3 at yellow, and of course we can charge. This is here to sort of extend turns. Really good on V for the Vanguard turns. We can V, say, pitch a yellow, charge, I guess, a card in that situation. And then with the yellow, we pitch, play a Take Flight. If we have, I guess, another card in Arsenal, like if we have a Bolt of Courage, we could play that. And then we could even Raiden. Really good. We generally want to be using 2 mana on each of our turns as efficiently as possible. So Take Flight helps us if we like lead with a V, or if we can take flight into a Valiant Thrust. Could be pretty good. So I do like the Take Flight, as well as also like Alpha Prayer Bologna. We don't have to charge for the go again. So pretty good. V for the Vanguard, one of Boltyn's main cards. It's a 1 cost for 3 block. As an additional cost, you can charge your hero's soul any number of times, so you can slap any number of cards from your hand into your soul. And then attacks you control gain +1 for each light card you charge this way. Funny thing, all 54 cards in the main deck are light, so this will trigger +1 on every card you put into your soul. And it includes itself too. So good when you really want to push damage. Good to set up your soul early. If you had like turn 1 maybe, you can set up 2 cards in your soul pretty easily, and then even come in with your weapon after. So you have this for 5 and your weapon for 5, and your weapon could be backed up by an Iron Song, so they want to block it. Obviously on turn 1 they probably will, but you made them block their whole hand, so it's not really that bad. And late game, mid game, V for the Vanguard, even on a charge 1, gives Boltyn just the right away to just play his whole hand. Everything's pumped. It doesn't matter if your opponent blocks. You can easily give it all go again. This card, one of the best tools for the deck. Now, let's talk about some of the... I already talked about Illuminate. I don't know why I talked about that in the charging section. But let's talk about some of the attacks that don't have the, as an additional cost, charge. I already talked about Illuminate. Hits, go into Soul. Great. We were already down here. I already talked about it a little bit. Valiant Thrust is a 1 for 3 yellow 3 block. If you've charged this turn, it gets +3. Good chain ender. Guess chain middler if you want to give it go again with Boltyn, which you easily can since it is pumping itself. Really good. Like I said, helps you with that 2 resource thing. That's also why Tunic's pretty good, because if you have Tunic up, you only need to pay 1 resource in a turn. Easy. Just use Tunic. If you ever return you want to pay 3, easy. Tunic's there to give you that 3rd. You don't want to really overpitch. You generally want to be pitching 1 card a turn. Obviously matchup dependent. If you play against like Wizard, you'll be pitching, but just you want to be as efficient with your mana as possible. Valiant Thrust is a good 1-cost card to be using. Then we have the 2 bannerets that we're mainboarding. There are 6 bannerets in total. 2 of them are really bad. 1 of them is pretty good, and it's not in this list. I just didn't really think it was as necessary. 1 of them is in the sideboard for specific matchups, and the other 2 are here. These are definitely the 2 best: Banneret of Courage and Banneret of Gallantry. Bannerets pretty much have an effect to where if they're charged, your hero's soul do something. Most of them are hit effects, but these 2 just do their thing. They're both 1 for 4 yellows that are 3 block. Banneret of Courage gives you a courage token, which is really nice because that's a +1 that you can easily give something go again with Boltyn. And Banneret of Gallantry just straight gives you the go again because it gives you a quicken token. Really nice with stuff like Illuminate, stuff like Raiden, even like, hey, Bolt of Courage if you've already charged this, which, I mean, you will probably have charged this turn if you're playing Bolt of Courage, but if you lead with like a red Beaming Bravado, putting like a Banneret of Gallantry into your soul, you use the Banneret to give, with Boltyn's ability, to give the Beaming Bravado the go again. And then you go into like a Bolt of Courage, you charge this turn, so you have the Boltyn breakpoint. The Bolt already has go again because you have the quicken token from the Banneret. So they kind of want to block it. A lot of the time they'll have to use a card and an equipment or 2 cards. You're getting more cards out of their hand, and you even have an action point still. You can go into Raiden, you can go into another attack. Really, really good. These 2, you kind of can't play Boltyn without them. The last attack in the main board is Bolting Blade. This is a 4-cost yellow with 7 power and 3 block. It has the pretty simple effect of Bolting Blade. It costs 2 less to play for each time you've charged this turn. It never came up. I don't know if V for the Vanguard you can charge 2 and then play it for free. That I'm not sure about. But Bolting Blade, still really good. It's a popper. It gives you a lot of value on really long turns. If you have a really big Beacon of Victory on a turn and you've charged twice, I mean, hey, Bolting Blade is a really good target for a Beacon of Victory. So, super, super good. And that's all the attacks. So let's go and talk about some of the not attacks. Starting with, I guess, attack reacts. Beacon of Victory. Beacon of Victory feels like it should be a Boltyn spec, but it's not. I guess in case we ever get another Light Warrior in the future. Beacon of Victory is a 0-cost yellow attack reaction with 3 block. It has the effect as an additional cost to play Beacon of Victory. Banish X cards from your hero's soul. X can't be 0. You give target attack plus X, and if you've charged this turn, you search your deck for an action card with cost X or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand. really good arsenal, gives you free attack to be able to give go again with Boltyn, is a tutor for any attack in your deck, and it goes straight to your hand too, so if you're on a turn where you just want to set up, you could even beacon for a V for the Vanguard and then just arsenal the V for the Vanguard next turn. So a lot of setup potential, a lot of kill potential. Definitely one of the best cards in Boltyn. Courageous Steel Hand, yellow, is going to be a 2 of here. It's just a 0 cost 2 block. Yellow, if you charge this turn, target attack gets +2. Pretty good. Here, we are also playing 2 Resounding Courage. Yellow gives a Light Warrior attack +2. It costs 1, it is 3 block, and if you charge this turn, you make a Courage token. And the reason we are on 2 of each of these is because you can go up to 3 if you need a budget option for either this Fabled here or this Legendary here. Since we're done with the attack reactions, let's just talk about them. Light of Soul, a yellow resource, it's a Fabled. If you don't have Fabled money, you don't have Fabled money. You can play a 3rd Courageous Steel Hand yellow or Resounding Courage yellow. It's up to you. The reason Light of Soul is here is because it is the perfect pitch to do for any of our turns. We can reveal the top card of our deck, and if it's yellow, we can put it straight into our hero's soul, giving us just a free soul for more Boltyn abilities or Beacon of Courage. Really good. We can even charge it if we really wanted to. It is a yellow. If we don't really need it, we can just chuck it away. A card we do want to arsenal, Spirit of Arena. For some reason, not a Boltyn specialization. Light Dorinthia gets her own Lumina Ascension speculation underway, but Spirit of Arena is legendary if you don't have it, and it's also not really required, unlike Tunic or Crown or probably Iron Song Versus or Soulbound Resolve. It's a little more important than Soulbound Resolve, but if you don't have a Spirit of Arena, you could play the other thing you're swapping Light of Soul for, if you are swapping Light of Soul for anything. A 3rd Courageous Steel Hand, or a 3rd Resounding Courage. Why is Spirit of Arena so important? Well, if it's charged, it goes into your arena instead of your soul. Or if it's put into your soul, it goes into your arena instead of the soul. So you can hit it off your Light of Soul, because that doesn't charge. And it pretty much just makes Lumina Ascension an instant. It's important because of how good Lumina Ascension is. Good segue. Let's talk about Lumina Ascension. This is the 2nd Boltyn specialization. It is a 0 cost yellow 3 block. It has the effects until the end of turn. Weapons you control get +1 power. And if this hits, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a light card, put it into your hero's soul and gain 1 health. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your deck. If you've charged this turn, you may attack an additional time with each weapon you control. Go again. The reason why this is important for it to be an instant with Spirit of Arena is because with Go Again, you do gain the action point, and it doesn't cost you an action point because it was played as an instant, which means you can use it to get a free action point if your opponent thinks you can't give something Go Again, which means you can get your 2 Raiden swings, which you probably use 1 with Boltyn's ability, but you get a free one without having to use Boltyn's ability. Super good. Lets you swing extra times with Raiden, which means you're coming in for 4 twice, because I sure hope you charge this turn. And also, to get a swing again, you need to have charged this turn. It also can give you a little extra healing. It gives you more cards into your soul. This is one of the best cards. It's why combo is so... I was going to say so good. Combo isn't really amazing compared to right now in the meta, but it's why combo Boltyn is strong. And this card, even in just Raiden Boltyn, really, really good. The last card in the deck, I'm pretty sure, I think I talked about everything, in the main board at least. A new card, Prayer of Bologna. This is a 1 cost yellow Light Warrior action 3 block. It gives your next attack this turn +2. It has Go Again. And reveal the top card of your deck. If it is yellow, put it into your hand, then charge your hero's soul. Free card draw, pretty great. If you find a banneret, or if you have a banneret in hand and you find like a Lumina Ascension, you don't have to charge the Lumina Ascension. You can charge just any card. Doesn't even have to be yellow, I guess, but you probably want to charge. Well, actually, for this it doesn't matter because the yellow charges check if only they charged. So you could really charge anything. But mainly you want to put a banneret or a spirit in soul. Gives your next deck +2. It's a bit of extra card draw. Really, really nice. Or a bit of extra card selection, I guess. Really, really nice. Easy include inside of Boltyn. Pumps up an attack so you can easily Boltyn something, and it lets you charge. So you have the card in soul for your Boltyn ability. Now that we've talked about the main board, which is 54, so I will be talking about. So you will have to include cards in your sideboard every game. So let's just go to the sideboard so we can look at what cards we might want to consider putting in. So the sideboard, we have, other than our equipment, we have 6 different 3-ofs we want to add in to every game. Command and Conquer. For matchups, we need poppers, and for matchups that the opponent's arsenal matters, you don't need to play Command and Conquer. As I say in every video, you can play Humble, you can play Erase Face, you can play Amnesia, you could play Wreak Havoc, you could play any 2-for-6 red your heart desires. This card is mainly here because it is a popper. However, Command and Conquer is the best popper in the whole game. Unless you're playing against Herald of Triumph, in which you need something with 7 power. But you have Bolting Blade for that. If you didn't want to run one of those 2-for-6 reds, the Celestial Cataclysm is not in this deck. You can play that too. So that's a great other option if you really wanted to. Courageous Steel Hand is here just so we can be a little more aggressive. If you're playing into a matchup that you know is just trying to block you out, Courageous Steel Hand can be an easy way to get an extra damage, get in a little over damage to proc some of your hit effects. It's a plus power source to give Go Again. This card is sort of a flex slot though. You could easily replace it with Favor Scenes if you think you need more defense reactions. You could replace it with the Celestial Cataclysm if you wanted more poppers or you like Celestial Cataclysm. This card is the fill slot. I like Courageous Steel Hand Red. I think that extra 3 damage in some matchups is super, super fun and pretty nice to get someone with. Light the Way is here for matchups that we just need that one more attack. This is the best attack we can add. Since it's a light warrior attack, it has as the additional cost charge. It's good against aggro matchups since they don't want to block it. We can get a free Go Again. And aggro matchups also have attacks, so if they block it, we just get the breakpoint, and then it hits anyway. And in some other matchups, that effect Go Again can matter. Dromai maybe, but which actually I suppose against Dromai, since we're not playing 2 poppers in the board, it would be Light the Way CNC. So good into Dromai if you had to include it. Sink Blows here just for when we need to be a little more defensive, mainly for our aggro matchups. It's just a free 4 block. Really, really nice. Also Guardian matchups. Sink Blow, good D-React. Really nice. Banneret of Protection is that other banneret that I was talking about where it's pretty situational but still really good. This gives you a Spellbeam Aegis, so 1 free ward. Is it ward or Spell Void? I think it's Spell Void, or it's just prevent the next. It prevents arcane damage. Similar thinking to Soulbound Resolve is your opponent's going to have to go through it. They can respond to this because this one's a trigger, but it's 1 extra health you get in the arcane matchup, so pretty nice. Only bring this one in against Wizard because Runeblade will just blow through this thing. And then the final card in the sideboard, Soul Shield, really good. Gives you soul, gives you 6 block. I mean, that's really good too. Great arsenal. Really good in the Guardian matchup. Good in the Alexi matchup. Anytime you want D-Reacts. Most matchups consider bringing in Sync Belows and Soul Shields. Matchups you don't think you need the Soul Shields, you can easily bring in the Light the Ways or the Courageous Steel Hands. Into Wizards, I would suggest bringing in Bannerets, and then the other choice is up to you. Against Kano, CNC could be okay since they generally want their arsenal to be a good card. You sort of force them to block it or play it. And if they're playing their arsenal card, they have to use their Stormstriders. Usually they will, unless they arsenal like a snapback or something. Against Icelander, it's up to you if you want to play D-Reacts, if you think they're on Bolander or know they're on Bolander. But if you think they're on Spellander, Courageous Steel Hand's a little better, since that free damage can help you land some hit effects and really put on the pressure. Light the Way's not as good in that matchup since they play a lot of normal actions, so you won't get that Boltyn breakpoint that you're looking for. In most other matchups, like I said though, most matchups, you'll generally want like Sink Below, Soul Shield, maybe. Those are generally the two best. Some extra defensive options for you. But obviously, Bannerets, Light the Ways, Courageous Steel Hand, CNCs have their points. You will bring them in some of the time. So, with that said, that's the sideboard. That's how you want to be sideboarding. Remember to bring in 2 of these playsets every game because you are a 54-card main board. Let's just go on to the outro. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope that you all enjoyed the last hero outside of Dusk Till Dawn. Spoiler season is starting soon. We've already seen some cards, which means soon enough, we will be on the set review within the next few weeks. I did start school again, so hopefully I can keep making these once a week, which I should have the time. These videos take me maybe a few hours to get recorded and edit, which I know I don't do a lot of editing, but I can with all of my schoolwork, hopefully get at least a video done each week for you guys. I don't know what we're going to do next week. Maybe with the Tolarian Community College UPF decks coming out, I do a UPF deck. I've been working on one I think could be pretty fun, and I think it's a good idea, so maybe next week we take a look at a UPF deck. So, with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.